This quick little 10-minute session is great for anyone who just needs to get up from their desk. So find yourself in a standing position. Just kind of take this 10 minutes to let everything out, rejuvenate, reoxygenate your blood, get the blood flow going. Maybe lean from side to side, do some head rolls, maybe a little back bend, maybe arms overhead, reaching one higher than the other. Some side shifts here. Forward fold. Maybe do some knee bends here in your forward fold. Bend one knee and then the other. Halfway lift. Fold. Reverse swan dive, arms overhead. Keep the arms overhead. Raise your left knee up to your left elbow. This is a nice side stretch and an oblique core move. Drop that toe down. And the right side, right knee up to right elbow and down, and repeat. Maybe do some torso twists here, arms stretched out, looking left and then right. And maybe some sideways torso shifts, just kind of moving everything around. Especially if you've been seated for a while, it feels good to get things moving. And arms overhead, reaching high, swan dive down, forward fold. Plant the hands and hopper step back into high plank, halfway lower into up dog, pushing back into down dog. Paddle those feet out if you need to, walk that dog. Caterpillar forward into high plank, halfway lower into up dog, and push back into down dog. Maybe find some room here. Deeply bend the knees, hopper step forward, halfway lift. Forward fold, reverse swan dive up, arms overhead. Take a breath and swan dive down. Plant the hands and hopper step back into high plank. Push back into down dog. Kick that left leg back behind you, toes pointed down, and shoot that left foot to the outside of the left arm. Plant it next to the left hand. Drop the right knee, uncurl the toes. Put that left hand on your left knee and open up for a gentle twist. You can reach your arm overhead or you can keep your hand on your knee. Plant the hands, kick back into high plank, push back into down dog. Next, you're going to be kicking your right foot out to the outside of your right hand. Drop the left knee, uncurl the toes. Right hand on the right knee and open up to the right. Again, this is a nice little spinal twist, a psoas stretch for the quads and hamstrings. Plant the hands, push back into down dog. Caterpillar forward into high plank, halfway lower into up dog. Take a breath. And curl the toes and push back into down dog. And drop the knees into a neutral tabletop. We're going to do some cat-cows here, so taking breaths in and out. Arch your back, inflate your abdomen as much as possible, and then exhale. Take some nice breaths here. And come to neutral tabletop, curl the toes. Push back just a little bit in your hips, a little bit of a toe stretch. And again, as much as you can stand. And one more time, pushing those hips back, getting a nice toe and foot stretch. Uncurl the toes. Next is a ankle stretch. So go ahead and sit on your heels, put your hands behind your hips and lean back gently. Rise up onto your ankles. Take this really slow if you need yoga blocks to keep yourself propped up, but this is a really nice ankle stretch. You can rock back again, or you can stay in that position and rock back one more time. And one more time if you've got it in you. Come forward into neutral tabletop for bird dog. Kick the left arm out, right leg back, finding balance, using all those muscles, and release. Right arm out, left leg back, and down. Left arm out, right leg out, and crunch in, elbow to knee, and out, and release. Right arm out, left leg out, and crunch knee to nose, and release. Left arm out, right leg out, crunch knee to nose, and release. And right arm, left leg in a crunch, and release. Go ahead and curl the toes, push back into down dog. Maybe find a little more space, stretch those arms and feet out, paddle the feet out, and really push your hands and your forearms into your mat. Caterpillar forward, high plank, halfway lower into up dog. Take a breath here, curl the toes and push back into down dog. Deeply bend the knees, hopper step forward, halfway lift. Forward fold. Reverse swan dive, arms up overhead, and swan dive down. Plant the hands and hopper step back into high plank. Bend the knees, uncurl the toes, halfway lower into a push-up, and raise the knees back up into plank. This is almost like a little inchworm move, kind of a plank to knees dropped to push-up. So as much as you can, in a fluid motion, drop the knees into push-up, and then into high plank. Go ahead and kick that left leg in front of you, left knee to left hand, and left ankle to right hand for pigeon pose. Whatever you can do here, you can stay seated upright, you can forward fold in your pigeon pose. Making sure to release tensions in your lower back and in your hips. Especially when you're in a seated position for a long time, this feels really good. You can either stay in your forward fold, or you can come up to a seated pigeon and draw your right foot into your hip. Pull that in with your right arm. Release the leg, plant your hands, kick back into down dog. You're going to kick your right leg forward, right knee to right hand, and right ankle to left hand. And again, you can stay in a seated pigeon, or you can roll forward into a forward fold in your pigeon. Again, if you need to use blocks or support yourself any way that you need to, this pose can be pretty intense. That's a good idea to add a block or a blanket or something folded just to support you a little bit more if you need it. You can come to a seated pigeon and draw your left foot in, grab it with your left hand. And release the foot, plant the hands, kick back into down dog. Deeply bend the knees, hopper step forward, forward fold, and halfway lift. To swan dive, up arms overhead, take in a big breath, maybe do a little back bend, open up as much as you can after having been seated. Forward fold, arms up, hands to heart, namaste.